Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Stop Worrying About Chasing webinar. My name's Amaya. I'm on the marketing team here at Chaser, and I'll be taking you through the webinar today. To take you through some quick housekeeping before we get going, we will email you a link to the webinar recording today, so no need to take any super extensive notes. My colleague Amy in our onboarding team will follow up with you today, and she'll be able to answer any questions that you might have after the session. To go through what we'll cover today then, I'll take you through how Chaser helps, so what exactly Chaser is and the problems that we help you solve. I'll take you through how it works, so you'll see a demo of the key features that are helping our users to save time and get paid sooner. You'll learn why we're the best solution available. And lastly, I'll take you through next steps, so how you can make the most of your 14 days free trial and access our setup training. So what is Chaser? Chaser is the market-leading cloud accounts receivable software, and it was designed for businesses that sell their goods or services on payment terms. We integrate seamlessly with key cloud accounting platforms, and we do that to automate invoice chasing, streamline your accounts receivable process, and ultimately get you paid on time in less time. In terms of the problems that we solve, as I'm sure a lot of you on this webinar will know, late payments can be a huge problem for businesses that choose to sell on payment terms. In fact, in the average month, Xero and PayPal found that 48% of all invoices are paid late. And more recent research by the CPA has found that globally, there's actually been a 209% increase in the number of late payments since the pandemic was declared. So this is becoming an even more prevalent issue. And for many, these late payments can lead to a number of difficulties. So that could be hours spent on manual, often quite ineffective accounts receivable processes, following up with your customers. It can mean difficulty forecasting because you just don't know when that cash is coming in. And in the present time, it's unfortunately even more commonly leading to business failures. But Chaser was founded with a determined spirit and a simple mission, and that's to create a world where all businesses can have the confidence that they'll get paid for their work and can avoid late payments and their negative effects on cash flow. To demonstrate just how Chaser helps solve these problems, I've got some key stats up on screen here on what our users experience. So on average, our users get paid 16 or more days faster. They've saved over 15 hours per week on their accounts receivable tasks, and they reduce days sales outstanding by an average of 25% or more. There's a quote up on screen here from one of our users, Love Brands. They use Chaser with Xero, and their team is saving over 15 hours per week at the moment on their accounts receivable tasks. I'll now take you through a demo of some of the main features in Chaser that are helping our users to save on time and get paid sooner. Great, you should be able to see the Chaser application up on the screen share now. It's worth noting, just so you know what's involved in the setup process for Chaser. Once you start your free trial and log in, you'll come to a page just like this. This is called the Chase feed, or essentially the home page of Chaser. And there'll be a bar running along the bottom, prompting you to connect Chaser to your accounting system. So you simply click on that bar to log into your accounting system. Then Chaser will sync and create a two-way integration. It only takes 2 minutes for this sync to complete, and then all of your customer and invoice data will be in the Chaser account. So essentially, you're ready to start chasing in just 2 minutes. One of the core pillars of Chaser is our email template. So if I open up a medium overdue example here, these templates are completely customizable. So this copy here outside of the bracket is what we would call our repeatable prose. So that's your, I hope you're well, best regards. And that's the copy that you want to stay consistent across each template that's sent out. Then along the right-hand side here, you have a series of placeholders that you can choose. So this could be your sender's name, it could be your recipient's name, days overdue. There's a lot of different options to choose from there. But these essentially make sure that your automated reminders look exactly like they were hand typed by the sender, and you can adapt them to whichever language you'd normally use when you communicate with your customers. So customers aren't going to suspect that this has come from an automated system, and that's going to give you the best chance of getting paid. So this is how it would look if your customer had one invoice overdue, but what if they had multiple invoices? This is an example of how Chaser deals with customers who have more than one outstanding invoice. And Chaser will automatically group this data together and put it into a table like shown. You can choose to include the total amount there. And that's instead of sending out a separate automated reminder for each invoice individually. So you're going to save considerable time using Chaser because you won't have to piece this kind of data together, but your customers are never going to know that they're being chased by an automated system. So they're much more likely to take notice of your hand-typed appearing emails and pay their invoices. I briefly wanted to touch on just a small feature here that's quite good for time saving. You can choose to automatically attach a copy of the invoice and automatically attach a copy of the customer statement to every template. This can obviously quite easily be forgotten when done manually, and it just makes sure your customers are going to have all the information they need to pay your invoice as soon as this reminder hits their inbox. Now, one of the placeholders that you can choose to insert into your template is this one, the customer payment portal. And I wanted to just show you how this looks. So if you send out a template with this link, it will link each customer who receives it to their dedicated payment portal. So this is an example here. In their payment portal, they can see all of their previously paid and their outstanding invoices in one place. They can also choose to download any invoices here and pay now through your chosen payment platform. So this means you can offer customers multiple payment options in one place, and that flexibility is obviously going to increase your chances of getting paid. It saves you time on that back and forth payment admin, as customers are going to have everything they need to pay in one place, and it keeps customers informed on what's due when, so you're both always on the same page. Essentially, the payment portal is there to ease communication and make both yours and your customers' lives easier. So at Chaser, these templates slot into schedules. You can make as many different schedules as required, and this does make Chaser very adaptable. So you can see we've got quite a few different ones set up in our demo account. So for example, if you've got some maybe long-term clients who you want to take a more sensitive approach when chasing, you can set up a schedule separately for them. If you've got some really bad payers who you know you need a more proactive or stern approach, you can do this. Or maybe if you've got some customers who you need to chase in a different language, you can set up a separate schedule for them too. Essentially, these schedules are going to make sure you're always chasing the right groups of customers in the best way possible to encourage payments. So I'll show you a bad payers example here. You can see how schedules are set up relative to the invoice due date. So this gives you the option to chase before the invoice is due, once it's overdue, and also on the day that that invoice is paid, you can choose to send a message to. So you can set up a few polite reminders before the invoice due date, checking in that everything is on track, reminding the customer. And then you can also add in as many overdue reminders as you feel you need to. So this is our bad pay schedule. If you anticipate that group are going to take quite a bit of nudging, you can add in as many as you feel you need to there. And then once the invoice is paid, Chaser gives you the option to send an automated thanks for paying message. And you can edit that in the template section that I just showed you. Now, when done manually, we know this is quite often a misstep and it can quite easily be forgotten. But with Chaser, these are sent out automatically. So You don't need to spend any time writing them out. Customers are always going to have that confirmation that you've received payment. And we found that sending these thanks for paying messages significantly improves future payment times too. Sorry, I just saw somebody raise their hand. If there is an issue, please let me know, but I'm hoping you can all still see the screen share and hear me. So the last feature I briefly wanted to touch on in the schedule section is the escalation tool. So if you've sent a number of invoice payment reminders and you've not received a response, you can choose to escalate the sender to a more senior figure in your business. So whilst your normal sender might be somebody like your credit controller or your accounts receivable clerk, if you're not getting a response from this sender, you can escalate the sender to a more senior figure in your business. So for instance, that could be your finance director, or a lot of our users will start sending from their company's legal address. And when you use escalation in this smart way, it really does make customers sit up and take notice of your emails. So where Chaser really exceeds in getting invoices paid is in its automated humanity. Every feature of the app has really been purpose built to make sure your customers never know you're using an automated system. And we've done this because we know that customers are much more likely to take notice of email reminders that look hand typed. So this area I'm in here is where you set up your email senders. And Chaser sent to your customers will always reflect your sender's regular email address. If I show you the example of mine here, you can also paste in your regular email signature. So it's going to look exactly like it was sent by somebody internally, giving you the best chance of getting paid. If I move over to the timings tab, you can see how you can line up your Chaser sending times and days with when you do your bank reconciliation or just after you do your bank rec. So that makes sure that your customers are never chased incorrectly if they have already paid an invoice. It's worth knowing as well to make sure you're always chasing with the most up-to-date information. Chaser syncs with your accounting system every hour on the hour before any Chaser is sent, and you can choose to sync Chaser on demand too, using this Sync Now button up in the corner. So even though you'll be saving a lot of time by chasing automatically, you will always be chasing correctly. So Chaser's CRM or receivable section gives you an overview of all of your communications, including your Chasers sent, phone calls, and email responses in both a customer and an invoice view. So if I go into an example customer here, you can see any Chasers that you've sent, and any replies from this customer will also be automatically pulled into this history too. Now, if I go to a specific invoice, your notes feature means that you can add any notes on calls that you might have had with that customer. You can assign follow-up actions to team members, or you could set yourself or a teammate a follow-up action for a specific date. It's worth knowing as well, if you do have a chat with your customer and they give you a new promised payment date, maybe they said that there's a hold up and they need to pay at the end of the month, you can update the expected payment date in Chaser, and all chasing will pause until that new date has passed. And because Chaser has a two-way integration with your accounting software, this date will also be pushed back into your accounting system. The last thing I wanted to briefly touch on was the reports page. So from here, you can just view the health of your receivables and view your progress with Chaser over time. This includes your outstanding versus overdue amounts, your total amounts chased, and the total amount paid for your business. You can also see which customers are posing the most risk. by viewing a table of those that represent the highest percentage of your receivables outstanding, what credit limit you've set for them, and what percentage of that credit limit they are currently at. So these reports are essentially helping our users to get more visibility on the performance of their receivables and help them decide which customers to continue granting credit to. So these are some very top level features that are helping our users to get paid on time. There is a lot more to explore in the app, but I wanted to keep this brief, so I will resume with the slides for now. So why choose Chaser as your accounts receivable solution? Well, Chaser is the market leading solution, and we've been supporting businesses with their accounts receivable for over 7 years now. And from consistently providing great results to our users, we've received some fantastic feedback and recognition. So we have over 400 reviews now, all at a perfect 5-star rating. And this makes us the highest rated app available for accounts receivable on Xero's marketplace, but also the 4th highest rated app in the entire Xero app marketplace. We've received a number of different high-profile industry awards for the work that we've done helping small and medium businesses with late payments, and that includes winning Xero App Partner of the Year in 2016, App Partner of the Month in August 2019, and winning the Accounting Excellence Cloud App of the Year for 3 years running now. In terms of next steps, my colleague Amy will email you shortly after the webinar with links to access our free trial and her setup training webinar. You can also send her any questions that you might have at the end. Once you start your trial, Amy runs a how to optimize your Chaser account webinar, which will take you through a complete setup walkthrough of the account. The next one will actually be tomorrow at 10 a.m. UK time, so I'll make sure she sends a sign up link for that too. So thanks everyone for joining. I hope you found this helpful, and we will be in touch shortly.